Day Black Trail Sonnen. Is that it?
Yes, we are recording, guys. So, John, you go ahead, sir.
All right. Hello, everybody. It's John Rialjo, No Filter MMA. I'm joined by Anthony Gella. And now you might be wondering why I'm doing the intro here. It's because that in the 2 weeks that I have been away from these guys, in the 2 weeks that I have not recorded a video with these fellas, something's gotten into BJ, and he's a whole new person, and he doesn't think that he should have to do the intros anymore. And you know what? It was just a tidal wave of just power, and I succumbed to it. And I was like, okay, I'll do the intro. I agree. You shouldn't have to do the intro anymore. So there you go. There you have it. It's UFC 251 fight week. I don't know what the hell is going to happen in this video, but if it's anything like the conversation we just had beforehand, then it's going to get crazy. And I don't know what we're going to talk about, and I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be worth everyone's time.
I'm just concerned about, I mentioned this, No Filter MMA's classes. I mean, I don't even know who this guy is anymore. I'm just waiting for him.
What are we supposed to call you? What are we supposed to call you? Because I just called you BJ, and I didn't even. I was like, "Whoa, I don't know."
I feel uncomfortable calling him BJ.
Yeah.
No, until like.
I got nervous.
Well,
what should we call you? Anything that you want to address? The floor is yours, sir. Let me, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want.
Well, I know everyone's probably want an explanation as to the change here, because this change is very drastic. So I just kind of want to give an explanation here. I'm gonna open up as the show comes on. But lately, everything that I say, and actually, it's not lately. It's actually been since I've started doing this. People just love to disagree with me. So, and I'm cool with that. So I'm gonna stop being such a nice guy, because I'm very nice. Like, I'm very nice to these guys who say, very rude stuff online. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna assume the role. I'm gonna assume the role. I mean, I've been called things such as I forgot what the one term that someone used to call me a name, but I've been called the Black Chael Sonnen. And one thing about Chael Sonnen, man, the motherfucker was real, and he is real, and he keeps it real. And one thing that I pride myself on with No Filter MMA is keeping it real. So I'm here to keep it real. Now, like I said, guys, I'm a little shy right now because, it's my first time in public. But I will open up as the show comes on. And once again, guys, I want to thank you guys for coming on, even though it didn't really matter if you came or not. Like I said, no more Mr. Nice Guy. So it didn't matter if you were on here or not. I'm here. So to me, that's really all that matters. But welcome, guys.
Well, thank you for having us and even just talking to us. I feel honored. Can I ask you, because you said that there were some things that you said that people disagreed with. Is there one thing in particular that stands above the rest that you say that people disagree with you on, that's like your hill that you will die on? The one thing that you just want to I don't care.
Like, what pushed you off the cliff? What made you put on the sunglasses?
You guys are asking for the straw that broke the camel's back. Is that correct?
Yeah.
The straw that broke the camel's back was me being slaughtered online for saying that I'm with Yair when it comes to Yair versus Zabit. And so, these things, when I make these picks, what I'm saying? Like, I have a lot of reasoning to go behind these picks, man. And I find myself trying to convince people what I'm saying. So I'm done with that. Y'all want to label me the heel? Then I'm gonna be the fucking heel. Yeah, man, I got fucking slaughtered in a Facebook group for saying I 100% am saying that Yair Rodriguez is gonna beat Zabit.
I have to tell you, you absolutely deserve that slaughtering, because that statement is ridiculous. Like, fix your glasses, clean them off, do whatever you gotta do, BJ, because it ain't happening. You're gonna get slaughtered on Twitter. You're gonna get slaughtered on Facebook. Hell, I'm hoping they slaughter you in the YouTube comments because there
But
is
why?
no
Fuck
way.
the glasses. Fuck the glasses. Fuck the glasses. Why? Why
Now,
do people
this is what we
slaughter
want.
me? Why do people slaughter me for saying Yair? Yo, listen. Now, Ant, you made a great point. I couldn't hold it back no more. Ant, I couldn't fucking hold it back no more. I'm here, goddammit. I'm here. So listen. Now, Ant, I can't remember if it was, I think it was Ant, because, John's been MIA. He's been tanning and, getting his eyebrows done. And
Hold on a second.
Oh.
Hold on a second.
I mean-
Hold on a second.
I didn't
Hold
know
on.
that. By the way.
Tanning. I live in Florida, and I was in the mountains of Vermont. There was no tanning going on. I was playing golf, and I was visiting family. And if that makes me a bad person, then fine. Then that makes me a bad person. I apologize.
What
God
about
forbid I
that?
play a little golf and see my parents every few months.
What about
And
the
you
whole
accept that?
eyebrows accusation where you
Look at his
also
brows,
get
bro.
your
Look at his
eyebrows
brows.
done?
First of all,
Very manicured. Very manicured.
Oh
true.
boy.
I-
Oh
not
man.
true. Don't. You know what?
He said not true.
I don't
But
know
anyway.
how did this turn into bashing me?
BJ
Oh,
did it.
Ant's turn's coming. Now Ant's
I
turn's
did-
coming.
I
But
did.
that's a little down the road. I took the glasses off, but I'm still here. So but one of you guys made a really good point when we were chatting the other day about Zabit and Yair. Someone said the boxing. I think it was you, Ant. The
Yes.
boxing of Zabit.
I did say that.
Now I need you to elaborate on that a little bit more. Tell me what you think is Zabit's path to victory. I need to hear this.
Well, Zabit's path to victory is playing the same game, as Chael P. Sonnen would say, Yair. He plays the game Yair plays, he's going to win. And easily, especially when it comes to in the pocket. I mean, John hates the whole no 5 rounds Zabit thing that's happening. Maybe when we get a 5 rounds Zabit, John will be on his team. But when it comes to like fighting in the pocket and everything, I think Zabit might be one of the best in the featherweight division. I ain't gonna say the UFC because that would be blasphemous. But in the featherweight division, him fighting in the pocket, his head movement, avoiding trouble, like ducking other punches and all that, is phenomenal. And then out of nowhere, he hits you with a trip or something and then flies off the cage. It's crazy. In Yair, he's gonna do a couple little crazy leg kicks like the ones he hit on Zombie. He's going to get his face boxed off. And to be honest, he better be lucky the fight doesn't end up on the ground. And John, you can have the floor with your eyebrows.
Okay,
I'm
listen.
sorry. That was me.
You guys are starting to sound very jealous. That's what's going on here. I
Let's
think
go,
that's
John.
what we're getting,
Let's
and
go,
it's
buddy.
disgusting. But here's what just on a general rule of thumb, I think it is so stupid when people say that, like, before a fight happens, oh, this fighter just has no chance, and bash people to the point where I got this dude coming on here with sunglasses on because he's tired of being humble over here talking about Yair Rodriguez and Zabit. Like, these are 2 of the top 5 featherweights in the world. Like, if these guys go in there, like, anything could happen and anybody can win. And the fact that, like, anyone would bash someone for thinking Yair freaking Rodriguez, who's 13-2 in his career, just has no chance of to beat Zabit, is absolutely insane, especially when Zabit has cardio issues. And you look at who Yair Rodriguez has beaten.
Oh my God.
Like, it's better than Zabit. It's better than Zabit for sure. It is.
Dude,
right?
I just said that.
What are we doing?
I just fucking said that.
And I'm fine if someone wants to say that they think that Zabit's going to beat Yair. Like, that's fine. That's great because it's a close fight, and they're 2 of the very best in the world. But if you're going to get on social media or bash someone for saying that Yair Rodriguez has no chance against Zabit. And it's to the point where I got this dude coming on here in sunglasses and getting all crazy and making me do the intro and stuff because that's the straw that broke the camel's back. Then these people need to figure something out. Like it's okay to have a friendly conversation, to debate back and forth. That's fine. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. But to the point that you're just bashing someone and I mean, yeah, Zabit will probably be a slight favorite in that fight, but like, it's not no Valentina Shevchenko versus, Jessica I type of line out there. Like, it's not like that at all. So what are we doing? Why are you getting all mad because someone thinks that Yair could beat Zabit? What are we doing?
And if you, I think that people are not giving, for one, I think it's two reasons. I think one reason is people want Zabit to be what they expected him to be. Like, Zabit kind of, I mean, I understand Zabit is good, but Zabit kind of rode that Russian wave in. You know what I'm saying? He's got ties with Khabib. Khabib is one of the greatest of all time. He kind of rode that in. You know what I'm saying? And people want him to be the next Khabib. But when you look at a fight, when you have a fighter like Yair Rodriguez, you know what I'm saying? If you just compare resumes, Yair Rodriguez's resume is a whole lot. So pull it up, John. Do your thing, bro.
Oh, I got it. I mean, I'm looking at it. It's like
start with just his UFC fights. Go from the UFC up.
He's been in the UFC for like 6 years.
Okay.
Start from the UFC.
So what does that to say? So he beats Leonardo Morales to win tough Latin America, then beats Charles Rosa, although he did throw up after that fight, but regardless, he got the win. Then beats Dan Hooker, might have heard of him. Then he beats Andre Fili, Alex Caceres, BJ Penn, loses to Frankie Edgar, but Frankie Edgar's style is significantly different than Zabit's. And then, I don't know, maybe you saw that fight against Korean Zombie. You want to talk about gas tank, 1 second left, and he throws up that miracle elbow. Granted, he was on his way to losing that fight, but that was a good, tough, competitive fight for 5 rounds. What does Zabit know about that? And then the Jeremy Stevens eye poke and then unanimous decision win situation right there. And all I'm saying is, and like, I don't want it to come off as me thinking that Zabit is just like some trash fighter. That's not the case at all.
He's not a lemon, right, John? He's not a lemon.
He's not a lemon. But what I'm saying is like, he's also not done anything for us to be like, oh, Yair Rodriguez doesn't even deserve to be in the octagon with this dude. Like, that's crazy.
Like his biggest victory is Calvin Kattar. I mean, like that is arguably Zabit's biggest win is Calvin Kattar.
Look at what Calvin.
But then you have
doing.
guys like Anthony that say that he wasn't gassing out in the 3rd round, and if that went 4 or 5 rounds, that he would still have won, which is Looney Tunes. Zabit was gassed.
I disagree.
You gotta say it.
I disagree. I don't think he was dying. I don't think he was looking like Curtis Blades in the 2nd round. I definitely said it would be interesting to see what would happen in the 4th and 5th, and I would lean towards Zabit. And by the way, whatever the hell your name is, I'm going to just start calling you Red Sunglasses because I don't even know this guy.
Oh,
he just...
Great name. That was good. Great nickname there, Anthony. Keep going.
Oh boy, that was a stiff jab there. That was a nice long, like Alexander Volkanovski jab there. So not Volkanovski, Volkov. That was a nice Volkov jab.
And hold on, talk about the Alexander Volkov stiff jab. He fought in the co-main event when Zabit took on Calvin Kattar in a 3-round main event because he might have been afraid to go 5 rounds because who knows what would have happened. See, that's how you bring it everything full circle right there. And you're calling me eyebrows. Okay, I have eyebrows, and they're nice. And they're nice. You want to hate on me for that? Go right ahead. I'll hate on you for being a dumbass. Okay? So
That
come
was
at
mean.
me.
That
Yeah,
was
that
rude.
was nice because I could have
That
been a
was
lot
rude.
meaner, but that was like the
That was
nicest thing I
rude.
could have said. That was the
That
nicest
was
thing I
rude.
could have said.
That was rude, and I'm not going to go down that path with you.
Yeah, because you don't
I'm
want
going
it.
to be the mature one and move forward because that was incredibly immature, John. I'm disappointed in you.
Yep.
You guys say
BJ,
that to each other. You guys say that to each other a lot. I'm very disappointed in you. Like, you guys say that a lot to each other. Like, who's the
it's
most
true.
disappointed in you?
I would probably say I am. On a day-to-day basis, I am. But, BJ, you're out of your mind. For one, you said he kind of rode that Habib wave. Yeah, he has
He
links to
did.
Habib. But I don't think I've ever seen him and Habib in a training session together.
I'm
Pull
like
up
cousins.
This guy, Zabit, is in Jersey, hanging, training, going crazy, nowhere near Habib, and he's associated with Dagestan. I mean, we might as well say Peter Yan rode that Dagestan Russian wave into. Come on, man. It's crazy. Go ahead, John. Say what you got to say.
No, I'm not saying nothing. I just disagree with you. I mean, like, if you don't think that there is like this, even if you know that they don't necessarily train together and they have different styles and such, but like there is that like connection where people just like put them in the same boat. Like that's like definitely a thing. Like it's like the Dagestani thing. Like you do it. Like we all do it. Like you have to acknowledge the fact that there is like that, like, okay, Zabit, like he's put into that same little, whatever.
He's from Dagestan. Like, he must be as good as Khabib,
But I don't think that plays like a huge role on his career. I think it's everything he does in the octagon that has put him in the position he's in. I don't think, it's his link to Habib. I mean, not everybody that's linked to that circle is doing the greatest in the world. I mean, one of the brothers just got knocked out a couple months ago. So it's not like everybody.
But what I'm saying is, my point is,
yes,
the only thing that I'm saying is that, like, and Zabit could win, and he could win, and then he could get a title shot, and he could become champion. I'm not saying that he's not a good fighter. I'm not saying that he's not champion quality. I'm not saying that, like, we should just dismiss everything that he's done. I'm not saying that. Like, I talk about like the Calvin Kattar fight and that potential 4th and 5th round for sure. And if you can't acknowledge the fact that he was gassing out, then that's on you. I disagree 100%. But what I am saying is, if you're someone who's getting mad at other people for saying that Yair Rodriguez can win that fight, then you're crazy. And Zabit hasn't shown us anything that's like to the point where we're just like looking at that and we're just like, dude, Yair Rodriguez is no chance. Zabit's going to go in there and mop the floor with him. It's not like that. It's not like I'm trying to take on, Jan Blachowicz at 205 and he's just going to go in there and do what he did to Luke Rockhold to me in 14 seconds. It's not like that. It's going to be a good competitive fight that Zabit might win because he's damn good. But Yair Rodriguez might win too because he's also pretty damn good. And we can have that debate and that difference of opinion. That's what makes this fun to do. But if you're also just dismissing what anyone else is trying to say about Yair Rodriguez, and like, I don't know, we're not from the same planet.
We're not from the same planet, but I do want to ask BJ there, what aspects of the fight do you see Yair winning?
I see. Well, first of all, what I was going to say was, to kind of fill in, to kind of support John. What John was saying is, there's an argument here that Yair should be the favorite. If you look at what has been done in the UFC, and you look at the excitement behind it and the controversy and whatever behind the fights with Yair Rodriguez, you could argue, the way that Yair has finished fights in his career, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's a more exciting fighter than Zabit, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? So you could actually, with the highlight reel knockouts, they both have highlight reel stuff, but you could argue that Yair should be the favorite in this fight. Zabit is the one that's having to prove himself, to defy the odds. You know what I'm saying? Not Yair. Yair's almost like he's moving slowly. I mean, he's moving into veteran status. You know what I'm saying? If you think about it, who he's beaten: BJ Penn, Frankie Edgar, Jeremy Stevens. You know what I'm saying? Touchy Feely. He's got some fucking wins. He's a tough winner. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, come on. But as far as like
beat
stylistic
Frankie Edgar, by the way. He did not beat Frankie Edgar. I mean,
he fought Frankie Edgar. Now, he didn't beat Frankie.
He
fought. Let me correct myself there. Hey, players fuck up too, bro. Players fuck up too. But
the doctor screwed him in that fight. He definitely would have won if it went to the third round.
Yeah. And Stipe taps. Let's not forget.
Oh yeah. I think Zabit likes to play that range game. He likes to play that range game and use his height and his reach to an advantage. But Yair does the same thing. Like, Yair throws those front kicks, man, and Yair throw a body kick, man. As soon as that body kick lands, there's a jab in your fucking face. Like, he comes in, and he's very fast with it. Yair's very fast, man. He's very tricky, and his pace is very high, man. You know what I'm saying? He keeps a high pace, and that's one, that's a hole that we've kind of seen develop in Zabit's game throughout his run in the UFC. He does tend to fade in the later rounds. You can't even call round 3 really a later round. I mean, you can't call 2 and 3 later rounds. And he's fading in 2. I've seen him fade in 2. I've seen him fade close to. I mean, I've seen him fade in a third round as well. So, I mean, I think who has the bigger hill to climb here, based off of that, is Zabit. I think Zabit is the one with the bigger hill to climb here versus Yair. If Yair just goes out there and is Yair, you know what I'm saying? Yair could more than definitely beat Zabit Magomedsharipov. Like, I mean, I see when you look at the two fighters fighting each other, who do you see winning that fight? Not because I'm a fan. I know I say that a lot, y'all, but the truth is, I really see Yair winning this fight. I mean, that's just the best way I know how to fucking put it. Go ahead, fellas.
I just think that Anthony and a few other people have seen one too many episodes of Joe Rogan's podcast where he talks about Zabit.
I stopped watching. I don't watch Rogan no more.
Yeah, because you were too gassed up on Zabit, and now it's like,
why you quit watching Rogan?
I only watch Rogan now if it's like a fighter that nobody really hears from. Like, of course, I tuned in with the Justin Gaethje thing, but
yeah, okay.
Companions get rough. And even sometimes the guests are just like, oh my God, it's 3 hours of nothing. And them companions, they ain't even companions anymore. Like, what was the last one they had? I think maybe 10 minutes of talking about the actual fights because Eddie Bravo was losing his mind.
Talking about other shit. Yeah, I feel you. So go ahead, John. What were you saying, bro?
No, I mean, like when push comes to shove, I might pick Zabit to win that fight, but it's not to the point where like I think anyone's crazy for picking Yair, and that's like a tough fight to pick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not to play like the middleman like here and like kind of sit on the fence, but like it's just I don't understand how anyone could be on one complete end of the spectrum where you say that Yair is going to go in there and completely like no doubt about it starts to beat, or vice versa where you say the same thing about Zabit. Like I get like why like you might think Yair would win or why Zabit would win, but like going way on like either side of that and like thinking that the other guy has no chance. It's like, have you guys like what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like it's a fight. Yeah. Like anyone could win. Like I don't know. That's just my opinion. That's one of my pet peeves actually with like the MMA community is where as soon as a fight gets booked and these people are saying that fighter A has absolutely zero chance against fighter B.
Yes,
Unless they're fighting Valentina and it's like, whatever, some of these people, but some of them, not all of them. But what I'm saying is, like, it's
yeah.
but like, you know what I'm saying? Especially like a fight where like there are fights where, the favorite is minus 1,000 or more. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, like something drastic has to happen for the underdog to compete in this fight. But to say that about Yair Rodriguez and to beat Magomed Sharipov either way is just, I mean, what are we doing?
I mean, we're kind of seeing that this weekend, right? We've been seeing that since the fight got announced. Like, it's either completely one-sided Masvidal or it's Kamaru, where people are just like, dude, Masvidal has no chance. Like, he's done for. It's just fight, like, I don't know about that. That's a weird fight.
I love this fight. I love that fight. Like, just like I love Zabit Yair, but when you look at Jorge and Usman, it's kind of hard. It's hard because everybody's like, well, Usman can strike. Usman has striking. And I'm like, okay, well, let's really look at Usman's striking. Okay, who did he look good against? He looked good against the guy that was on his same level of striking. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you look at Kobe and you look at Kamaru and you look at their backgrounds and you look at the time that they've been in MMA, you know what I'm saying? They're about neck and neck as far as experience with striking. Like, Kobe ain't the best striker. Those guys look good because either one of them are not the best strikers. You know what I'm saying? So, and if Kamaru was able to dominate Kobe, which he was, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's good for him. That's a good thing. Pat on Kamaru's back. But when you're talking about somebody like Jorge Masvidal, who is a much more seasoned striker than Kamaru Usman, and the power of Jorge to me has gotten more. His power has increased since he's been fighting at 170 pounds. You know what I'm saying? And that makes it a tough fight. And then you look at the grappling of Kamaru Usman and the weight of Kamaru Usman, which is going to play a huge role in this. You think back to how good Jorge Masvidal did in the fight with Damian Maia. You know what I'm saying? So that makes you think, even though he lost that fight, you look at that fight and you're like, okay, Damian Maia is a big 170. He used to fight at 185 pounds. Could Jorge, a bigger, stronger Jorge Masvidal, could he, you ask these questions, could he hang with Kamaru? Could he fend off Kamaru Usman if Kamaru starts shooting for double legs? If Kamaru starts taking him down, you know what I'm saying? Like, can he fend off Kamaru? Because he's a bull. Kamaru's a fucking bull. He's an animal. So, I mean, these questions get asked. It's size and physicality wise, the fight with Gilbert Burns made a little more sense to me because Gilbert Burns is a big guy. Jorge Masvidal is not anywhere as big as Gilbert Burns or Kamaru Usman. So, I don't know, guys. You guys go ahead. You talk. I don't know what to say. I put it out there as best I could. Like, I'm kind of talking. It's a weird fight for me.
Yeah, I think what's, interesting about it is that with Masvidal, like, and, for the record, like, I think Usman is a beast. I think he is an absolute savage.
He's definitely a beast.
He's a monster. I don't think he can talk shit, but I think that when he's in the octagon, he's a monster. And like from when he's not talking shit, he seems like a great dude. But like, it feels like everyone, and we had the same thing leading up to the Ben Askren fight 1 year ago today, but where it was just like everyone said that.
Listen to John with the spot on with the date of the fight, man. Listen, I'm liking it, bro.
I do MMA history every single morning, so I'm on top of that. Dude. But okay. So,
all right, don't tell me he's the shit. He just
but with that fight and with this fight too, and obviously the Askren fight went the way it did, right? But people are just like, well, Askren's going to be able to get Masvidal down. Oh, well, Usman's definitely going to be able to wrestle the shit out of Masvidal. But you
All
look
right.
at Masvidal's record. When's the last time he fought a wrestler other than Ben Askren? And we can't even count that fight. Like when was it? When's the last time he fought someone that was known for their wrestling?
Who are you talking about,
We-
Jorge or Kamaru?
Masvidal. When's the last time? When's the last time? Go through his record, man. There's no like it. You have to go back years before you find someone that's like a wrestling heavy guy, right? So we haven't seen him in a situation where the number one thing that you have to worry about in an opponent is their wrestling. And he said about the flying knee against Askren, he's like, listen, man, like if he was going to take me down, I was going to have to get back up. So I didn't feel like it was that big of a risk. So he felt pretty comfortable getting back up against Ben Askren to the point where, he felt cool running across the octagon and throwing a flying knee because he thought that he could get back up. Like, we're just all dismissing the fact because Masvidal's this striker that, like, he's going to have no chance in the wrestling against Kamaru Usman. And obviously, Usman's wrestling is going to be better than Masvidal's. But I don't necessarily think it's going to be a situation where Masvidal is just a fish out of water in the wrestling game. I think that that's crazy to feel
It's
that
crazy
way.
to think that. Yeah, it's crazy
what
to
I'm
think
saying?
that, bro.
And with Usman against Colby, now that was a fight that I had Colby winning 3-1, 3 rounds to 1 going into the fifth. First round, definitely Covington. Third round, definitely Usman. Second and fourth round, you give them either way. I don't really care because those rounds were so close. But what I'm saying is, like, when Usman and Covington won, they both fought their plan B game plans, right? Both those guys are trying to take people down and bring them into those deep waters and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And neither guy did because they just, they kind of negated themselves like that and they just struck. But if it's that same type of fight, Masvidal's winning that fight. He's good. He's a better striker than Kamaru Usman. He's a better striker than Colby Covington. So if he can defend takedowns, man, I'm probably gonna pick Usman to win the fight. But like, I just don't understand like the Jorge Masvidal can't wrestle narrative solely because he is a striker. You know what I'm saying? And he's a little bit crafty in his submission game too. He's a little bit crafty. He only has 2 submission wins in his record, but like we always talk about Pettis being, this like submission guy, Showtime, all this kind of stuff. Masvidal and Pettis had a grappling match last year, and Masvidal destroyed him. Masvidal destroyed Pettis in a grappling match. Like, it's not like he's like, I don't know, man. I think dismissing Masvidal's chances are crazy, but I'm probably still gonna pick Usman.
He absolutely can knock out Kamaru Usman. And I was
100%.
I made that point on the live stream last night. I was over at CSH Combat Sports. Shout out to Coach. And I made that point. I said, if you fucking think that Jorge Masvidal cannot go in here and knock out Kamaru Usman, you're fucking crazy. You're fucking crazy. He put Darren Till. Listen. Tyron Woodley hit Darren Till with his best punch. He dropped him, but he did not knock him out. You know what I'm saying? And when Tyron Woodley commits to that punch, he can be one of the most deadly strikers in the division. But I don't know what his problem is right now. You know what I'm saying? And Jorge Masvidal, it took one punch from Jorge Masvidal, and it put Darren Till's lights out. And Darren Till is huge. He was a big ass welterweight. And Jorge Masvidal was severely undersized in that fight. And he pulled off the knockout. So, he absolutely can 100. And people say, well, Colby Covington is probably a more powerful striker than Jorge Masvidal. And I was like, listen, Colby Covington set a record for the amount of punches that he hit Robbie Lawler with in that fight. And he did not come close to knocking out Robbie Lawler. Like, dude, he's when Colby implements his his striking game, he's a volume striker. He's a tit for tat striker. He's not throwing knockout power. You don't see him throwing knockout power. when you see Jorge Masvidal put somebody away the way he put Darren Till away, that's knockout power. That is knockout power. And when they made the statement about Colby Covington, I was like, do you watch MMA? If you're sitting here saying that Colby Covington is probably more of a powerful striker than Jorge Masvidal, okay.
Man, I just wanted to say to John's point earlier when he asked the question, the last wrestler that Masvidal fought that, remotely had a background that was worthy of mentioning was Jake Ellenberger. And that was in, 2016, a million years ago, before he got on and murdered Cowboy. So Masvidal wasn't even really in the limelight at that point. It took the Cowboy fight to do so. And man, my thing about this weekend is if Kamaru Usman shows up and does what he does best, he's going to beat Masvidal, I think, all 5 rounds. I don't know about the scoring, but I would say all 5 rounds. But if Kamaru Usman was to go in there super confident, like he did with Tyron Woodley, where he was like, all right, I'm going to make a statement and out wrestle and out grapple Woodley. Boom. All right, I'm going to fucking make this big old statement and try to strike with Colby Covington for the whole fight. If he decides to go in there and be like, I'm going to make a statement and I'm going to go out there and try to outstrike Jorge Masvidal, I don't see how it gets into the championship rounds. Because for one, you mentioned Mr. Darren Till. Love Darren Till. Darren Till wasn't moving his head for anything. The only time he moved his head in that fight was when he got hit, and then you try to be like, didn't hurt. But then eventually he got hit and he put his lights out to the point where he needed oxygen in the octagon, which was crazy to see. And then, of course, the whole Askren thing in Masvidal, it shot Masvidal up to a place where I don't want to say he wouldn't be, because he has all the possibilities in the world to maybe be in the same spot he was in if that whole flying knee didn't happen, because we never know. But I guarantee he's been looking forward to this, and he's going to be waiting for Kamaru Usman to make a mistake. And I don't know where Kamaru Usman's confidence, if that's going to overpower.
What is he going to do? Like, if Jorge stuffs the takedown, right, what is Kamaru Usman going to do? If Jorge stuffs his takedown, what is he going to do?
And it's not like he can just sit there in the clinch, because we seen Masvidal drop Nate with an elbow, breaking off the clinch. And it was beautiful the way he did that. I think Kamaru Usman has a lot to worry about. And obviously, I would say the biggest advantage going into that fight would be the size, right? The body. And if he is able to lay on Masvidal, great. If he's able to push him up against the cage, great. I hate this. I am starting to hate the smaller octagons, just because I'm starting to feel like there's not a lot of room to work in. You start to notice
it's a huge advantage for wrestlers. Yeah. It is, man. It's a huge advantage. Look. I'm not trying to say she had an advantage, but look at Jillian Robertson versus Courtney Casey, man. Jillian stalked Courtney. No matter what Courtney Casey did, Jillian stalked her down, backed up against the cage, and took her the fuck down. You know what I'm saying?
Look at what everybody's saying about freaking DC and Stipe. They're saying DC has the biggest advantage going into that fight with the smaller octagon. And it's like you would think Kamaru Usman would too, but it's just, guys, what if 2 minutes? What if not 2 minutes? Because a lot can happen in 2 minutes. But what if we're into the second round and we all notice, fucking John, you're sitting there and we're like, Kamaru Usman hasn't went for a takedown yet. Isn't that going to be something to be fucking worried about? Usman, what are you doing?
And I've said this to Anthony. I might have said this on here before. I've said this a couple times, but I can't stop thinking about it, man. I really, really can't. Anthony already knows what I'm about to say. One of the things that, the low-key things about Masvidal that really impressed me against Diaz, really impressed me against Till in particular. Obviously, the Askren fight was what it was, but those kicks to the body, man, are sharp. Yo, those things are sharp.
I knew you were going to say that, bro. I knew you were going to say that.
I can't stop thinking about how Marlon Moraes knocked out Aljamain Sterling with that, like, it's a kick, no, it's a knee in your face, good night kind of thing. And I just, for whatever reason, man, I can't stop thinking about Usman coming in for a takedown at the same time that Masvidal's throwing a kick and it turns into a knee and knocks this dude out, dude. I can't, because Masvidal throws those. He throws those.
He dropped
out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, yo, he throws those, and I just can't stop thinking that is a really good potential way that this fight could end. I can't stop thinking about it. I think about it all day long.
I'm getting overwhelmed.
No, you're right.
And man, I'm getting overwhelmed. And BJ, man, I'm sorry to cut you off, man, but
no, go ahead, bro.
We haven't mentioned there's 2 other title fights happening on Saturday. Like,
I know
this is such a tidal wave of madness that's taking place. We're not completely dismissing these 2 other title fights, but I mean, me and John mentioned this earlier. Go check it out on Bloody Canvas MMA on YouTube. We discussed this. We pretty much, you know what? I'll ask BJ here right now and see if you and John share the same answer of me and you. From least to greatest, how would you rank the championship fights happening on Saturday? Well, least to greatest, the main card, because we threw in, Ribas, and you have to throw Ribas in there.
She's on the main card. Show some respect.
I said main card. Jesus Christ! Like this
I thought you were saying like. I thought you were
like.
It's getting
Are
all
you saying like least important title? Are you saying like least important title fight to most important title fight?
No, rank the 5 main card fights. Rank the 5 main card fights and the ones that like you're most looking forward to.
And this is UFC 251, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Your interest meter.
Let me get it up to where I can see it, guys. Let's see. Fight Island. Yeah. I think that
those are some of the weirdest sounds I've ever heard in my entire life, by the way.
Dude, this is crazy. Okay, so least important
to greatest. Like, this is what I'm looking forward to. This is the one where I'm like,
Not important for the UFC, but important for you. Whatever you're going by these days.
Okay. So what's least important to me is Amanda Ribas versus Paige VanZant. Now, I'm not saying no. I'm not saying that that's not an important fight. That is an important fight, but it's kind of weird because it's Paige's last fight. Who knows what she's gonna do? And Amanda Ribas is fighting at 125 pounds. Why didn't they choose a flyweight? Like, Paige VanZant ran from all the flyweights who called her out. You know what I'm saying? Like, Macy Barber called her out viciously. Jillian Robertson called her out viciously. Montana De La Rosa called Paige VanZant out. Rachel Ostovich called her out, and Rachel Ostovich got the fight. You know what I'm saying? And because she saw Rachel Ostovich as an easy win, and Rachel Ostovich was kicking her fucking ass in that fight. I mean, I must make that little asterisk there. But she's fighting a strawweight, which she's a former strawweight, but Paige ain't fought at strawweight in a long time. You know what I'm saying? She's a flyweight. She's a flyweight. You know what I'm saying?
So that's your least of the
That's
5.
my least.
Okay.
Yes. My second one up is the Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo fight. That's the next one up on the list. Then would be the Jessica Andrade and Rose Namajunas rematch. Then would be the Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, and then Kamaru Usman, Jorge Masvidal. That's mine.
That's fair. See, so mine, when we talked about this earlier, I said that for me personally, I'm not saying that it's like the biggest fight or like the fight that like I think most people should be interested in, but like I'm a big Amanda Ribas fan. Yeah. Dude, I understand, so like, dude, that's my number 2 fight.
Right. That's like Jillian Robertson fighting a fan favorite. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude,
Right.
I totally fucking get
Right.
why you put that fight where you put that fight.
So for me, I'm most interested in the main event, Masvidal versus Usman, and then second for me, it's Ribas versus Van Zant. Third for me is Andrade versus Rose Namajunas, because I keep saying it, man. Like, I think that the narrative about what Jessica Andrade is doing is just getting swept under the rug because everyone's focusing on the Rose Namajunas angle. But like, this is a woman who
former champ.
She slammed Rose on her head to win the belt at 237 last year. In Brazil, she's doing her thing, has this big moment, and then she goes to China and gets stomped out. And she gets stomped out in less than a minute, right? So it's like, do I think that Andrade is going to get the belt back at some point? No, I don't think so. Personally, I don't see that happening. However, I'm interested to see how she bounces back from that loss in a title fight. Like, this girl's last fight was defending a title. And we're just focused on Rose Namajunas, whose last fight was also defending a title too. So like, and I get why, Rose is a fan favorite, all this. I get that. However, I'm also interested in Andrade as well, and that's why I'm so interested in that fight. I think the Andrade angle is getting slept on, and I also agree with the Rose Namajunas angle, and that's why it's a really interesting fight for me.
Before
is it your turn?
Yeah, before
hold on, let me just say, and then I'll finish, and then you have the floor, and then I have Jan and Aldo, and then last for me is Volkanovski and Holloway. Although when I said that, I said this is my least interested fight, whatever. However, I would understand if someone had it number one, and that's why this card is crazy. Like, I get it 100%. It's just, for me, if we're splitting hairs among crazy good fights, that's last for me. But I get if somebody would have it number one. Just a great card. Sorry, Anthony, you can go.
Beautiful presentation there, John, by the way. People see BJ, me and him can get along. We can be nice to each other.
I see this. Yeah, I see.
But
I like
for
this.
now, fuck what John had to say. I'm looking forward to, of course, Kamaru Usman, Jorge Masvidal. I mean, they're on the marquee for the end of the night. We've been seeing this build up for Masvidal to eventually fight for a title. We've seen him fight for a title, the whole BMF thing, and then that somewhat solidified. To me, I mentioned this before, way back in the day when this fight happened. To John, we had this discussion that BMF title had a weird interim title feel to it. Of course, that died down after a few weeks went by, but it had that weird
but now it's sparked back up. It's sparked back up now, though.
Depending on what happens.
He's the BMF champ. He's the BMF champ. He's gonna walk in. He's gonna walk in with the BMF belt on his shoulder.
He has to. He has to with the Scarface music.
Right.
He has to. So I'm looking forward to that the most. My second fight of the night that I just cannot wait for is Peter Yan and Jose Aldo, because Peter Yan is going to present us with one of the dead bodies we're going to see at UFC 251, and we are going to see him become, if I might be reaching here, I might not be. He would be the first Russian bantamweight champion, right, for the UFC. If I'm right. Yeah. So he's going to, break down a barrier real quick. He's a dominant fighter. I see a lot of people sleep on Peter Yan online. They talk a bunch of shit about him. I get it. Sort of who were we just speaking about? Zabit, without the impressive resume. He hasn't fought the best people in the world, but the way Peter Yan has been laying them out, a million-year-old Uriah Faber or not, he beat the shit out of Uriah Faber. I don't care. He's beating the shit out of a lot of people. He beat John Dodson.
He beat a good Uriah Faber. Uriah Faber.
Yeah, Uriah, people just act like they weren't on Uriah Faber's back after he starched Ricky Simone. Everybody thought he was the next big thing, and this whole crazy shit was going to happen, and this beautiful run. It was madness. And then Peter Yan, he's fighting someone in Jose Aldo who has a huge opportunity on his hands to become someone in the UFC that has held the title in 2 divisions. A lot riding for him in his legacy, but I just think he is fighting someone in Peter Yan who, I say this all the time, he reminds me of Fedor in a way, because once he analyzes you and realizes where you're going and how you're fainting, it's over. It's game over, and I'm pretty sure he's going to put all those lights out. My third one.
Yeah, but if Aldo, shit, man, I want to say something about that so bad.
Man, I'm gonna wait until you put on your glasses and you can hit me and John with whatever you want to hit us with. Because the third one, for the one I'm looking forward to the most, Rose Namajunas and Jessica Andrade. Man, it's so interesting to me. I've seen nothing on Jessica Andrade. It's all been about Rose. Where's Rose mind has been, and I mean, the last time we did see Andrade, to John's point, she got the shit beat out of her in China, and with someone who just had, in my opinion, the greatest fight of the year, unless something crazy happens, and Wiley Zhang and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Like, that fight was madness. So to see that performance and then see what happened to Jessica Andrade, it's like, that gotta be demoralizing to her. And I'm sure she don't want to go in there and get her ass beat by Rose again, because she was, before Rose continued to hang on to her arm and get slammed on her head. But
she was getting beat.
She was getting beat, and Jessica Andrade's got that power. And I'm sorry, Rose can be real iffy, man. I don't know who's gonna show up, but like, I don't know if she's gonna be thinking on fight day. I just don't know. Next fight, man.
Hey.
Come on, BJ. Come on, man. These two will be quick, man. The next one was, of course, Amanda Ribas and Paige VanZant. Because for one, this is Paige VanZant's, going away party, essentially, right? If she gets a win, this is going to be huge. Maybe, I'm sure she's going to get a crazy amount of money from Scott Coker, but maybe it'll help it a little bit if she walks out on a win. Other than that, who doesn't want to see Amanda Ribas fight, especially with the way she's been performing? I mean, she ran through Mackenzie Dern. I mean, caught her body at UFC Brasilia when, COVID happened. And then we have Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway in a fight where I really don't know what's going to happen. Like, is the Bless Express back on board? Is Volkanovski just going to make a repeat of what took place? BJ, the floor is yours. Hit us with what you got, man.
I forgot what I was saying. I forgot what I had to say. I started thinking about other shit. But what I was gonna say about Peter Yan and Jose Aldo, like, what if Jose Aldo just comes in, dude, like attacking the legs, dude, like just kicking the shit out of fucking Peter Yan, bro. And Jose Aldo can fight that kind of fight, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like the style matchup. Like, I understand Peter Yan is a powerful striker, but so is Jose Aldo. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not forget here, Jose Aldo's not that old. He's been in the game for a long time, but he's only like 33, 34 years old. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jose Aldo, man, if he comes out, man, throwing big fucking kicks and he fucking slows, he takes a notch out of Peter Yan right away, bro. I think his chances in that fight go up significantly if he can just get in Peter Yan's face right a fucking way. But he's got to be careful. He's got to be smart about it, man. You know what I'm saying? But fucking hey, man, that's a good goddamn fight. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. And Amanda Ribas, what you were saying about Ribas, you know what I'm saying? If she does get this win and she does walk away from the UFC, which she probably will, you know what I'm saying? And she does go
VanZant.
Like
VanZant. If VanZant
I meant to say
away.
VanZant. Yeah. If VanZant walks away from the sport and goes somewhere like Bellator, there's some big fights at strawweight or at flyweight for her. Like, Carrie Melendez is a name over at Bellator. That'd be a big fight. Paige VanZant versus.
Yeah, you know what maybe might very possibly be the biggest fight that Bellator can put on? Top 5. And maybe not the biggest.
Elima Lay versus Paige VanZant.
Who, John?
No. Who? Valerie Lareda versus Paige VanZant.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That would
Yeah.
that would be.
That's
Yeah.
it, right? Like that's
Yeah.
the one, right? No?
Yeah. Easily, yeah.
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 But there would be opportunities. There's fights, that if she was to, if she were to go to Bellator, they probably, give her the belt or something, make a belt because I don't think they have a belt at 115, at Bellator, but or if she stays at 125, get a fight with Alima Lay, dude, she'll get beat up by Alima Lay McFarland, bro. I mean, I would hate for Paige to take that fight, dude, because Alima Lay McFarland gonna beat the hell out of Paige. Like she gonna beat the hell out of Paige Van Zandt, bro.
I just like these conversations about Bellator. I've almost like tried to stay away from talking about Bellator just solely from the fact that like, but hold on, but I'm not like it's not like a bad thing about Bellator. It's just like there's so many good fights to be made at Bellator, and like they just aren't fighting right now. Yeah, it's just like it's so frustrating. Like I want to see these fighters fight, so it's like I'm just like pretending like Bellator doesn't even exist right now until it comes back, because then it's like okay. And I think that I saw somewhere that they're gonna do like a whole bunch of shows in a row. I don't know if that's been confirmed, but like I mean I want to see these fighters fighting again, man. I really really do, and it just sucks that it's just not happening right now. So I've been trying to like pretend like Bellator doesn't even exist so that I'm very happy for when it returns. I'm not trying to like cast any shade on Bellator. I mean, I like Bellator.
Bellator's got some big fights to be made, though. They do, man. I mean, if you think about it, like you got the debut
Mousasi Lima,
Mousasi Lima. Like I said, Kat Zingano's debut. Fucking dude. Fucking Cyborg wants to defend her belt. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some fights that at Bellator that are pretty intriguing right now. Yeah, especially Lima Mousasi, bro. Yeesh.
AJ McKee. AJ McKee is a monster.
Yeah,
I can't wait to like
who
that whole tournament.
Next? I forget how that even bracket looked anymore.
Was it Caldwell?
I think it was.
I think it was Caldwell.
Caldwell.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Caldwell. Which like that would have been a good fight.
I mean, I'm sure it's still gonna go down. It would have.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight Caldwell on June 6th. So.
There's a guy I'm trying to do. I tried to get an interview with once. His name is Corey Browning. Are you guys familiar with Corey Browning?
Yeah, a little bit.
No, but if you ever get an interview with Aaron Pico, let me know.
Aaron Pico.
Yeah.
I've interviewed a couple of Bellator fighters. I interviewed a girl named Dakota Zimmerman who went in there. She was making her MMA debut, bro, professional debut, and she fucking went to war. Do you guys remember when that girl went to war with Carrie Melendez? Like she went to a split decision with Carrie Melendez and whatnot. Like, oh, dude, it was a good fight, dude. Her name's Dakota Zimmerman, dude, and she's a fucking scrappy little strawweight, bro. And I did an interview with her once, and I've interviewed Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor. He's a character for sure. He's definitely a character. But yeah, man, I like Bellator. People diss Bellator a lot, but there's a lot of good fights that go on at Bellator. Like the heavyweight Grand Prix, I enjoyed that. The welterweight Grand Prix, I definitely enjoyed that. Seeing Douglas Lima fucking knock out Michael Venom Page, dude, that was awesome. That was an awesome fight. Like that was an awesome highlight fight, dude. So
then that was the same night Michael Chandler lost to Pitbull, right? Because they fought in the main.
Yeah.
Crazy. And fellas, I gotta ask you fellas something.
What's up, man?
Just to steer away from Bellator real quick. Me and John touched on this a little bit, but not too much. But I'm curious, BJ. Let's say someone that I'm big on, Volkan Oezdemir. Let's say he goes in there Saturday night and gets the job done. Same question for you, John, just in case your mind has changed over the last, day and a half. Where do you think this fits Volkan Oezdemir in this light heavyweight title position? Because from the looks of it seems like John Jones is pretty serious about sitting out. Like, he don't seem like he's been like, oh, yeah, I've lightened up a little bit. So the title picture might get a little interesting. And if that happens, we're talking about a vacant title, fellas. I mean, Volkan Oezdemir would be one of the top 5 guys, right?
Yeah, not really though, because he's taking some L's. Let me look up his record here.
It's not
You
that
know,
bad.
Man,
um,
Jay, you just opened the
I'll
door, man. This man has lost to DC, Anthony Smith, and Dominic Reyes, which me and
And he
both John
beat
think he
Reyes.
beat Reyes. Yeah, he beat Reyes. Knocks out Ilir
um,
Latifi, and then he doesn't destroy him, but he destroyed his legs in Alexander Rashik. Split decision. I mean, I don't even think Rashik is walking still from the way his legs were looking. They were two completely different sizes. And no time, man. I think he can creep right on in there. If he gets another win or two, he's right in there.
Well, especially if John Jones vacates and they do Jan versus Reyes for the title, because that just eliminates two people ahead of him.
Mhm.
Like if he wins and then he has
you got Thiago
like if he
Santos in there, bro.
yeah, but like if he wins like this fight on Saturday and then maybe he gets Thiago Santos or maybe he gets a Glover Teixeira, and then like if he wins
I
that
can see
and
them
Reyes
making that
and
fight.
Jan fight, you know what I'm saying? If he wins like these next two fights and Jan and Reyes fight for the title, then like he's right there. He's right there.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I just feel, I mean, I can see them making because I don't see them really like. I think Thiago Santos is going to have to win a big fight to get back into the title picture. And I can see them making that fight, or Thiago Santos versus Corey Anderson. I thought that would be a good matchup as well. But
Mhm.
I can see them if Volkan Ozdemir comes out with a win here. Then for sure I can see that. I can see him being, fighting somebody in the top 5. I can see him doing it. But I mean, you got Anthony
Who did
Smith. You got Jan. Go
who
ahead.
did Anthony Smith just get booked with? Was it Rashik?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was Alexander Rakic. Yeah, yeah.
So
The end of
it's like
August.
if I mean, no time is the number seventh ranked guy, fellas, and I really think he has the chance here to shoot right up in the division. Because I'm sorry, man, that knockout set Corey Anderson back so far with all that
Yeah,
good
it did.
bullshit that was flying out of his mouth.
Well, the thing
But what do
about
you think?
Corey Anderson though is
Go ahead.
he doesn't get along with the UFC that well, right? And like this guy was talking crazy, like he was like, his next fight was for the title, then he's declining fights, all this kind of stuff. Then he beats Johnny Walker and he says, I'm not fighting unless it's for the title. He gets the Jan fight and he gets knocked out. And like now, if you're the UFC, you can make an argument for other guys over Corey Anderson right now,
For
where
sure.
before it was before it was tougher, and if he had beaten Jan, then it would be like almost impossible unless you just went back with the rematch with Reyes and Jones. But like now there's you can put like 2 or 3 names above him, maybe even more than that at this point, and like that kind of hurts him when he doesn't appear to have a great relationship with the UFC.
Right. Yeah. You're right, man. I just see, if John Jones does vacate, I feel like Dominic Reyes is fighting for the title. I mean,
Has
Dominic
to.
Reyes, dude, he looked great in there with John Jones, bro. I'm not even gonna lie,
Thought he
man.
won.
I mean, he coasted the last 2 rounds, but that was only 2 rounds, dude. He won rounds 1, 2, and 3 decisively, bro. Like he won the first 3 rounds decisively, and Thiago Santos had a good argument. I think they're saving that fight. I think there's something going on with that fight right there because Thiago Santos is definitely healthy. He's been
It's been a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been raw dogging Yana Kunitskaya for a year now. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been raw dogging Yana for a year now.
Respect.
It's time to. He got him a bad one, bro. Let's just be real. He got him a bad one.
I mean,
But yeah, man, I think they're saving that fight.
to your point, BJ, if they're saving that fight, who's there for Thiago to fight? Does he fight Glover? Like, there's not too many that Thiago Santos can fight. Like, there's really not. outside of
I
Dominic
mean, I can
Reyes.
see them. I can see them making like if Volkan Ozdemir wins, I can see them making Thiago Santos versus Volkan Ozdemir. Like I could see that fight being made. I could definitely see that fight being made. Given Volkan Ozdemir, if he looks good, you know what I'm saying, giving him the chance to jump up to number 2 and be right back into the title picture. You know what I'm saying? But I mean,
or Glover Teixeira. I think Glover Teixeira makes a ton of sense for it.
Absolutely, yeah. That would be a great fight. That would be a fantastic fight. You know what I'm saying? But you got like, Misha Serkinov, you know what I'm saying? That's somebody to keep your eye on. Nikita Krylov as well, man. Those guys are good guys, and those are the lower tier of the division, but those are some killers down there, man. It's any guy right now can if any guy looks good in the top, 10, I feel like they're gonna push him. If somebody comes out looking good here in the next couple of months, if Anthony Smith makes a turnaround, gets an impressive knockout, you never know, man. You never know at light heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? Because I really wasn't expecting Volkan Ozdemir to shoot up to the top like he did when he made his title run. You know what I'm saying? But he had a solid title run. You know what I'm saying? But anybody, when you get to those heavier weight classes, man, it gets to be anybody's game. You know what I'm saying? So it becomes a gamble. Heavyweight, light heavyweight, even middleweight, man, because Paulo Costa and Israel Adesanya is somewhat of a toss-up, but in many ways it is a toss-up, and in many ways it ain't a toss-up. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel that fight's pretty solid for Paulo Costa. I'm sorry, man. I do. I feel like that fight is pretty fucking solid for Paulo Costa, dude.
Me too.
I mean, I wanted to see what you boys had to say about that fight in particular.
Man, I might as well just get it out first. Paulo Costa is gonna work Izzy. Like, I don't think Izzy has faced anyone in the octagon that can rip combos with the amount of power and velocity that Paulo Costa does, especially when it comes to the body work. I mean, perfect example is that, of course, it was when he murdered Johnny. Like, he just murdered Johnny Hendricks, sent him off to somewhere he didn't even need to go, to be honest with you. And then Uriah Hall breaks him down. Granted, he was getting popped by the jab. Paulo was starting to get a little bloody. But you're going to get hit in an MMA fight, right? It's not everybody is invincible. There's been a couple of times where brother Khabib Nurmagomedov looked a little shaky on the feet, and but you have to take that.
The Michael Johnson fight.
Yeah, when Dustin Poirier rushed him across the octagon at 242, that gave me a bit of a heart attack. And I think Israel Adesanya, the skinny guy, I don't know how his ribs or anything is going to handle just what's going to be. I don't know. I seen Kelvin Gastelum hit him, and to be honest with you guys, I don't even know what Kelvin Gastelum is right now. I think he has a fight coming up. Is it Jack Hermanson, I think, right?
I think it is, yeah.
So it's like we haven't seen him in a million years. It's sort of that Darren Till fight is like sort of gray area in my mind. I would have to watch it again. That was a long night that night. Man, Paulo Costa, the new UFC middleweight champion. And then something that John called, then we'll get the rematch with Yoel or something,
Right.
I gotta ask this, and I just kind of like put this together in my brain, and I know that there's like that video out there where they pan to the wrong fighters, and back then like there were some great champions, but I think you can make an argument before Cejudo vacated. I think you could argue that the list of champions right now in the UFC is better than it's ever been, like better than it's ever been, and there are a few fighters that just like have worked their way to the point where I just won't pick against them, and I'll be wrong someday. Max Holloway was one of them. I was just like, I picked against him so many times, and I'm just like, you know what? Like, okay, I'm like I picked him against Volkanovski just based on like that. It was like, man, I thought it was a tough fight, whatever. Cejudo, after he beat Marlon Moraes, I was just like, I'm just not betting against this dude no more. I'm not doing it.
Right.
I've gotten there with Kamaru Usman, and I think I'm there with Israel Adesanya, where I'm just like not gonna pick against this guy.
Dude, but what are you gonna do? What is Izzy gonna do? What is Izzy gonna do when Paulo has successfully cut off the octagon? When he could, because Paulo is an expert. He's an
body
expert
kicks, by the way. Oh my
dude,
god.
Oh, dude, the body kicks, dude. He's excellent at cutting off the octagon. When he's got Izzy, I mean, Izzy's gonna try to distance strike at him. You know what I'm saying, to keep him at distance, but he's gonna close the distance, dude. When he's ripping Izzy to the body, what's gonna happen?
I mean, if he's not there, you know, I know you've seen Karate Kid Part 2 when he's in Okinawa. And I know you've seen it. You've seen it. I've been working on it. I've been working on that. But like, what makes me nervous about that fight from a Paulo Costa angle is that he just appears to be way too emotional about this fight. And I just feel like a guy like Adesanya, who is composed as hell and can just like evade shots and pick you apart. Like, I'm not sure if going in there emotional as hell is like the right game plan. Now, if Costa goes in there and he's composed, I think for sure he has a great chance. And like, I'm not saying it's like, I feel great picking Adesanya, and the fight's not even booked yet. Who knows? I got to marinate on that for a little bit. But what I'm saying is like, I think right now my early lean would be Adesanya. It really would be. I would have to be convinced during fight week that Paulo Costa is like chilled out a little bit. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's so many good fights before that. Like, I haven't even really like let my brain go there, to be honest with you.
First, to John's point, we have to get through the tough house with them too, if that's even a real thing.
No, that's not happening.
You don't think so?
I heard that wasn't happening.
I don't think it would.
Probably
it doesn't
Joe
appear to be the right
Rogan ruined it. I don't think it's the right pair to put in as coaches in the first place. Like, what are you thinking? Like, that's just not the right pair to put together.
They should do like Team Valentina versus Team Calderwood. You know what I'm saying? Something like that for tough. Or
Valentina and Wiley Zhang, because Wiley Zhang's got her English under wraps, and I'm sure it will be remarkable by the time that fight was to happen. But real quick, before we venture off, fellas, back to Paulo real quick. I just don't think he will storm forward like Robert Whittaker did to Israel Adesanya. And Robert does that in every fight. He rarely does. Craziness.
Yeah, I think Paulo Costa, man, he's big, man. He's a big guy. I just feel like the way he throws his hooks, man, like the range doesn't. Like he was throwing those hooks right over Uriah Hall's jab, man. I mean, he's got shorter arms, but he was landing those fucking hooks, dude, and it just fucking broke Uriah Hall, and Uriah Hall is fucking tough. You know what I'm saying? And we seen Kelvin Gastelum land that left on Izzy, and it hurt him, dude. Like, if Kelvin Gastelum can hurt him, you know what I'm saying? Like, he can be as evasive as he wants to be. He's gonna get hit. Paulo's gonna hit him. How's he gonna respond when he feels Paulo Costa hit him? You know what I'm saying? He ain't never been hit like Paulo hit him. Like Paulo can hit him. Uriah Hall said after that fight, he said, he was either Uriah Hall or Johnny Hendricks. They were like, I ain't never been hit that hard.
I think it was Uriah Hall. I think it was Uriah.
I ain't never been. He said, dude, I ain't never been hit that hard in my life. He was like, he said, I'm trying to stick the jab, which he did an excellent job. He did, like, Uriah Hall did what he was supposed to do in that fight. When you have the reach advantage and you're facing a powerful striker, stick the jab at him. And he did a perfect job of sticking Paulo with that jab, but it was not enough. Like, a jab from Izzy is not going to be enough to stop Paulo Costa, man.
And Costa's
everybody's like his jab,
too.
his jab. I'm like, his jab? What about his jab, dude?
Let me ask you this though, because like he did say it while he was on top of the octagon, but like it's a good point. With Whitaker, Yoel Romero didn't stop this dude, and Adesanya knocked him out pretty much twice. Like he could finish guys. Like I don't know. Like I
mean, I can pull a card of, and Izzy didn't really do anything against Yoel, and I seen Paulo drop him within a minute.
But that's like a style of a fight, though. I'm saying like Romero went after Whitaker. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like they were throwing bombs.
Yeah, they were.
And Adesanya finished them. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a good fight. I do got to just bring this up. Just scrolling a little bit. It appears as though Pedro Munoz has tested positive for COVID-19 and not fighting Frankie Edgar, which I think that was on Wednesday. It's supposed to happen next week.
Wednesday, and Frankie just signed a multi-fight deal, which blew my mind because
damn,
like he just
I haven't seen confirmed anywhere, but just
he
throwing
is
it
his
out
manager. Did it?
Were you talking about the
Rona or Frankie?
He's Frankie.
The Rona.
Okay, the Rona. Damn it, Pedro.
Frankie's gonna make a run. He's gonna make a run at bantamweight.
He's trying to make that run, man, and I don't know how far he's gonna get. To be honest with you guys, I don't know where Frankie Edgar's ceiling is in the bantamweight division, but I just don't think he breaks into the top 5. I don't think that's possible with the killers that are present there, especially who knows what the hell Dominic Cruz is thinking. And then Imagine
Frankie Edgar versus Dominic Cruz.
Frankie Edgar versus TJ Dillashaw. TJ's gonna be back sooner than we think.
Yep, that is right. Right.
And I mean, I'm sorry, like if there's gonna be a fight where I really don't know who's going to win, it's going to be between Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling, because it's like the way Aljo looked in his last fight, I don't see Frankie doing much. You know what I mean? We've seen Jose Aldo and Frankie Edgar already. We know what happens. It's just, guys, Frankie, he's never going to leave the UFC. I don't want him to end up in that BJ Penn sort of run. You know what I mean? Just because you change the weight division, doesn't mean
everybody always says that BJ Penn coming there.
BJ Penn is the worst. He really is.
Everybody else says I don't want him to end up like BJ Penn.
I mean, was in his last 10 fights, was BJ Penn like 9-1? Something crazy.
First, it's 1-9, but are we including street fights in that?
I'm high. No.
Are we including street fights? All right, then. Yeah, it's like 1-9. It's
1-9. I said 9-1. God damn it.
You talking about the old BJ?
Yeah, the old one. The one with hair and like.
And now, Anthony and we're gonna be talking about the old BJ, but we're gonna be talking about this dude before the glasses.
Oh yeah, I see what you did.
You talking about me? Oh, you talking to me? Okay, you're talking to me.
Talking to you,
guys
man.
know when you see the glasses, it's about to go down.
Yeah.
So all right, guys. So what is your closing thoughts about this coming up card? What are you guys hoping, and what are you guys looking forward to in this card this weekend, 251?
I am hoping we're gonna get a phenomenal card. I'm hoping the run that John has started, where every event we're like, oh, these prelims are shit, and then they turn out to be amazing. I hope that happens once more. And I'm really anticipating this main card, guys. I mean, Amanda Ribas opening up the show with Paige Van Zandt. Everybody's going to be eyes locked on that. And then, of course, Rose Namajunas and Andrade. And then we have to relax and take a breath, because then we have 3 championship fights back to back that are just going to be bangers and a half. Get ready for it, fellas. Fight Island is here.
I think that when you look at this card, the early prelims, that flyweight fight is interesting for sure. But then, like, once you get to the prelims, like, we didn't even talk about how, like, Leonardo Santos is on, like, an 11 fight win streak or something crazy like that. He hasn't lost since 2009. Yeah, 11 fight win streak. So 11 fights, but he only has 11 fights in 11 years. Like, that's crazy. But, he has, I guess it's 12 fights, but legit.
He's not active.
Okay, there we
go. Amir Khani returning after he got kind of broken against Shane Burgos. Zaleski dos Santos versus Muslim Salikov. Like, that is a banger of a fight. Ozdemir, like, and then the main card. Amanda Ribas getting things started against Paige VanZant. And then we have a rematch of a title fight that happened barely a year ago, and then 3 title fights. Like, what more could you possibly ask for? And I'm just going to keep banging that drum. Amanda Ribas, a future megastar in the UFC. We get to see her again against Paige VanZant. And the more people see Amanda Ribas, the more they're going to fall in love with her. I'm just excited. I'm happy it's fight week. We deserve this.
If she beats, if Amanda Ribas stays at 125 pounds and she beats Paige VanZant, you know what I'm saying? They'll probably pair up with Montana De La Rosa. That'd be a good fight. They'll feed Montana De La Rosa to Amanda Ribas. And
I think she goes back down though. What?
You think so?
What? Well, okay. Who'd you pick against De La Rosa and Ribas?
Is there a question in who I would pick? De La Rosa.
All right, so that's who you would pick. Who do you think would win?
Montana De La Rosa.
Oh my god.
You're crazy, BJ. You're out of your mind.
We gotta do a companion for that. If that fight happens, we gotta do a companion.
Oh, dude.
Because it's got to be De La Rosa because it won't be Robertson because they train together.
Right.
But if it's De La Rosa versus versus Ribas versus, I'm just all twisted right now. You got me all flustered talking about these ladies. If it's Ribas versus De La Rosa, we're doing a companion. And
absolutely, dude.
I'm
sorry, dude. But, one thing. I'm gonna say it now. One thing that will be a massive advantage for Montana De La Rosa in that fight. And when I say massive, I mean massive.
Don't do it.
It's the size, and it's the jab. Montana De La Rosa throws he throws a nice jab, dude. Right down the center. She's gonna stick. Listen to me. She's gonna stick Amanda Ribas with that. Hold on a second. Hold on, guys. Let me get right before I finish this little statement here. Hey, John.
Here we go. Oh, he's snapping his fingers at you. Jesus
Hey,
Christ.
buddy. Listen, Montana gonna stick it with that jab and land that right hand, dude, and shoot in for the takedown and dominate Amanda Ribas on the ground, bro. Don't get it twisted. If that fight ever happened, bro, don't get it twisted, dude. She ain't beating Montana. Amanda Ribas ain't beating nobody good at 125 pounds. She'll beat Priscilla Casanueva or somebody like that.
Hey, come on, that's my girl.
Keep the sunglasses on, BJ. Keep the sunglasses on, man. Because with these sunglasses, we might as well write a prediction from you about this. This main card. Can we get 5 quick picks from BJ with the sunglasses about what's going to go down at UFC 251 Fight Island? Final predictions, man. Come on.
Final predictions. Are you ready, John?
I'm ready. I'm just
baffled. John's baffled.
He's baffled. He's going to finish me off with the Amanda Ribas thing. It's brewing. It's cooking inside of him.
He's sleeping on Ribas.
I can smell it. I got Rose Namajunas for the rematch. I got Max Holloway for the rematch. I have what's the other fight? And I have Jorge Masvidal in new.
You're missing 2 fights there, pal.
Oh, and I got Jose Aldo by KO
Oh wow. Oh, this guy's
Yeah.
getting crazy.
All right, what's Amanda Ribas and Paige Van Zandt? What is it?
Oh my gosh.
That's a tough one, bro.
Oh,
You know, I mean, because it's a tough one, and I'm gonna tell you why, man. It's because Paige Van Zandt, dude, she has really good fucking kicks, bro. Like Paige, she does, and she throws that switch kick kind of like without any kind of a wind up. Like there's no wind up when she throws that switch kick, dude. And she's good with that kick, bro. And Paige Van Zandt can grapple and she can submit you. You know what I'm saying? Listen, dude, I'm gonna tell you, when the fight with Mackenzie Dern, bro. I mean, Amanda Ribas dominated that fight, but that wasn't Mackenzie Dern. That was Mackenzie Dern trying to get her feet wet again. You know what I'm saying? The Mackenzie Dern we saw in there with Hannah Cyphers, the one who went after it. You know what I'm saying? The Mackenzie Dern who went after it. That's the Mackenzie Dern that Amanda Ribas would have lost to. You know what I'm saying? The Mackenzie Dern, I mean, Paige Van Zandt, that's a good fight, man. Paige is not all that great, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, certain things that Paige does is very effective, but Paige has not been active. I have to say, Paige has not been active. Amanda Ribas has been snatching, you know what I'm saying, names, getting bodies, you know what I'm saying? So that could play a role into it, and just with that alone being said, I'm going to have to go with Amanda Ribas. You know what I'm saying? But it is a dangerous fight for Amanda Ribas because Paige Van Zandt could be better than ever. We don't know. We don't know. But if Paige can not get stupid, you know what I'm saying? Like Paige started fighting stupid. She started fighting stupid against Rachel Osterich. And then what happened? Rachel started landing that big overhand right and taking Paige ass down. You know what I'm saying? So if Amanda Ribas is aggressive with the takedowns, man, I think that's the biggest kryptonite for Paige Van Zandt. If Amanda Ribas if she can be aggressive with the clinch and the takedowns, she could really, and you have to damage Paige Van Zandt. You know what I'm saying? You have to really damage her. Go for that arm. You know what I'm saying? She's been having a lot of problems with that arm. Go for that fucking arm. You know what I'm saying? When I talked to Jillian Robinson, Jillian said, if I had a fight with Paige, I'd snatch that arm up just like that. Easy win. You know what I'm saying? Easy fucking win. So it is what it is. I'm gonna have to pick Rebus though, but like I said, it's a dangerous fight.
Anthony, go ahead.
I don't know how still don't know how you could pick Montana De La Rosa over Ribas, but
dude,
man,
come on.
I'm leaning towards, man. We'd be super confident, but right now Masvidal and New, Peter Young, and New. Not Volkanovski, sorry, Alexander Volkanovski. I think he's gonna defend it and utilize his game plan as last time. I mean, Rose Namajunas, we seen what happened before she got slammed on her head. Probably gonna be a repeat, and Rose Namajunas is gonna put herself in a position where she can fight Weili Zhang, and then of course, I mean, just bring out the white sheet and put it over Paige Van Zandt already, because Amanda Ribas is gonna, I don't even have words for that.
But she turned down, like, what I don't get is that Paige turned down easier fights. Like, she turned down easier fights. Like, she turned down Jillian Robertson. She turned down De La Rosa. She turned down Macy Barber. Macy Barber is an easier fight to me than Amanda Ribas. Amanda Ribas is a very tough fight. That's a very tough fight.
100%.
That's a very tough fight. That's a very
100%.
Macy Barber. All Macy Barber has is power. Like, she's very sloppy. She called Jillian Robinson because Jillian Robinson is not the best striker. You know what I'm saying? Like Macy Barber is not that good of a striker. She's just big. At 125 pounds, she's just big. You know what I'm saying? Like, she knocked out JJ Aldrich, but she got dropped twice in that fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, Amanda Ribas is definitely she's the harder fight because, Amanda Ribas was taking right hands from Mackenzie Dern like it wasn't even nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing. So, she took the bigger of the two evils to me. This is a tougher fight for her, man.
I think it's almost like the point where if if Paige Van Zant fought an easier fight and she lost, then it would be like, oh wow, she lost to this person. But no one's gonna like. I don't think she gets crushed by people. Well, she will because she's Paige Van Zant. But like from like a skill level standpoint, like if you go out there and get dominated by Amanda Ribas, like okay, no, you know what I mean? Like we're kind of all expecting it more so based on how we think about Ribas, at least for myself, more so than how I think about Ribas than it is like a negative towards Paige Van Zant. I just think so highly of Ribas. It's not an anti-Paige Van Zant kind of thing. So she goes in there, and even if she gets finished in the first round, it's like, okay, I kind of expected that. You know, like it's not that big of a deal kind of thing. Plus, she gets an opportunity to fight on Fight Island, UFC 251, all this kind of stuff. I could see why she took this fight.
Right.
I just don't think she's going to win. But
yeah, I think Amanda Ribas pulls it off. Like, I mean, you know, Amanda Ribas, she's physically she's tough, and we've seen Paige Van Zant. You know, she's kind of squirrely. You know what I'm saying? Especially at 125 pounds. You know, she was getting manhandled by Rachel Osterwich. You know what I'm saying? Like a true 125 pounder. You know, the question is how is Amanda Ribas going to look at 125? Because Paige Van Zant looks like a 125 pounder. You know what I'm saying? Like not so much Amanda Ribas. I mean, she was the same size as Mackenzie Dern. You know what I'm saying? When they fought, you know what I'm saying? Like they were the same size, and that's the smallest. These last two fights of Dern's are the smallest we've ever sseen Dern. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it jumping weight classes is always risky, man. You know, it's risky. Like Jillian Robertson was talking about this in the last podcast, and she was just like, I told her, I said, you look bigger. Like, you look bigger. And she was like, her body has adjusted, because she used to be a strawweight. She said her body has adjusted to 125 pounds. She would never make 115 again, is pretty much what she said. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, somebody like Ribas who's jumping up to take this fight versus Paige's last couple of fights have been at 125 pounds. It's like, you know, what kind of size are we going to have here? You know, because I thought Courtney Casey was going to be significantly bigger than Jillian Robertson, and she wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, she wasn't that much bigger than Jillian Robertson. So, you know, jumping weight classes, man, you may look big at one. She may look big at 115, but 125 is different. It's different, bro. It's a different weight class.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Hell yeah.
We'll see. But we're going to shut this thing down, man. We've been going an hour and a half. We spit some fire on this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? This shit was dope. I love linking up with you boys. It's always awesome, guys. All my subs out there, you guys jump over to Bloody Canvas MMA right here on YouTube, guys. And you guys subscribe to these guys. Follow their content. As you can see, they speak good shit. We all speak good shit, guys. Any thoughts, guys? The floor is yours, y'all. Go ahead, say what you got to say before we get out of here.
Amanda Ribas might be the GOAT, and I think she's going to prove it. I think we have a great night of fights in store for us, and then we're like sprinting for like 2 weeks at that point, because then we have a card Wednesday, card next Saturday. Looking forward to it, man. Should be good.
R.I.P. brother's father. That's it.
Habib's dad, yeah.
This guy.
Come on,
right
BJ.
here,
why are you laughing? It's a sentimental thing.
You always got to bring up Habib.
I mean, come on.
I mean, we're
Fair
Khabib
play.
fans
Fair
over
play.
here, bro. We can't help that you're not a Khabib fan.
Yeah.
But and condolences to Khabib. Condolences to the GOAT too, man. He lost his father.
I like that. The GOAT. John, you hear that?
Yeah. You know,
John,
so definitely
I'm sorry,
yeah.
That got me so excited when you just said that.
No, bro, I feel that. I felt
Can
that.
you say it again? Can you say it one more time? The GOAT.
The condolences to the GOAT, and when I say the GOAT, I'm referring to the 28 lightweight champion. It's all good, man. Hey, this is your boy BJ back from No Filter MMA. We're gonna end it just like that, and
Yeah,
we out, bro.
we out,
Peace
man.
out, bro. We out.